Hello, everybody. Let's introduce ourselves this time. We failed to do so multiple times before now. So, my name is Stephanie, and this is the lovely Chantel. We are the elder law ladies, and we work at Alderman Law, and we talk on Wine Wednesdays. Don't worry, we've come prepared. We hope you're prepared as well. If you would like to share your drink of choice in the comments section, that would be totally fine and much appreciated. But what we do is we're going to talk about a topic every other Wednesday. Comment sections, always feel free to put comments in there, questions, and we can answer them real time. Or if you post them later after the video's done, we get the notifications and we can respond to them then as well.
Yeah, so, Stephanie.
Yeah?
Do you have home insurance?
Yeah.
Do you have car insurance?
Yeah.
Do you have health insurance?
Yeah.
What about life insurance? That one's trickier.
No, I don't. Why did you call me out?
Do you have long-term care insurance?
Say what? What's that?
It's a really cool thing that we're going to talk about today to inform you lovely people about what long-term care insurance is, because we don't feel like people talk about it enough.
Nobody talks about it at all. No.
Yeah. I had no idea what it was until I started working in this area. And I think that holds true for a lot of people. They probably have no idea what it is unless they somehow get in a weird situation or get their estate planning done, and hopefully their estate planning attorney talks to them about it.
Or they're at the same facility with someone else.
Oh, yes.
And they're chit-chatting away, and they're just like, how are you paying for this? And it's just like, oh, yeah, my long-term care insurance pays for it. And the other person's watching their bank account dwindle away because they're paying for it out of their bank every single month.
Yes. So we'll start at the beginning, and we'll just talk about what the heck is long-term care. What does that even mean?
Yeah. Does it typically mean your kid takes care of you and you get to move in instantly? Maybe, but not for all of us. Not all may be so lucky. But sometimes you need extra assistance that kids just can't provide or a spouse can't provide. And so you have to go into some type of facility, which is not a negative word.
Or you might get care at home if you can afford it.
But for this scenario, we're mostly going to talk, what we're talking about does go into the home stuff, but the 3 ways to pay for your long-term care, a lot of it deals with being in a facility, some type of long-term care facility, not rehab, not independent living, and it depends on the type of place you are at. But some places, all places, cost quite a bit of money. Shocker, I know. But it costs a lot of money, and you got to pay for it some way. So we're going to talk about the 3 ways that you can pay for it. We did talk about it on a previous Wine Wednesday video, so you can go scroll through the video section on the Alderman Law page and listen up on that one. So we'll just do a quick overview. So 1, you work all your life, and you make money, and you save money. Because you're like, you know what? I'm going to retire. Maybe I'll retire at 65. And then I'll travel the world and I'll have all this money saved up and I'll be able to do it. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, and no one's saving for retirement thinking, grinding 9 to 5, day in and day out, so that, if I get to a point that I need some extra help or I need, a medical professional to come in and help take care of me, gotta be able to pay them. People don't think like that. You think that you want to travel. And guess what, guys? I want to travel. We do, but we're also human, and our health deteriorates over time, or accidents happen, and you get to a point that you can't care for yourself, and it's expensive when you have to pay to have someone else care for you. If you're talking about facilities, you're looking at like a minimum of $5,000 a month, and if you want to stay at home and pay medical professionals to come into your home, it's astronomical how much money it costs.
It can be upwards of 10 grand a week if you have 24-hour care, and it can be much more than that. And the numbers are shocking. But now think about if you need that care, either in the home or in a facility. Now think about if your spouse is joining you, and then double that price. So if we're looking at a minimum of $5,000 for one person, That means we're now at a minimum of $10,000 per month for 2 people. And I'd say most people, their income that they make in their retirement, so say 75 and above in their retirement for both spouses is a lot of times under $5,000. So that savings dwindles, and just goes away if you're sitting there private paying the facility. Next option is Medicaid. So some people spend down all of their hard-earned savings and their money, and then all of a sudden they get underneath a certain threshold for what they own, how much money they have in the bank, and then they can qualify for Medicaid. And then Medicaid will pick up the bill. And that's number 2 for our ways to do it. And then number 3, and what we're here today to talk about, is long-term care insurance. As Chantel talked about, there are other types of very important insurance that everybody has, and it's common. You have to have, car insurance to drive a car. You got to have home insurance if you own a home. But why not think about the other one, long-term care insurance?
Absolutely. And, people don't want to think about this, and we're here to tell you, you should think about this in your late 20s, early 30s. Once you get your big boy, big girl job and you start dishing out home insurance, car insurance, add long-term care insurance into that, because it's going to help you in the long run, even if you're not thinking about needing it right now.
Unless you want to private pay and just spend down all of your hard-earned savings, it's up to you. It's a life choice. But long-term care insurance is given by different types of insurance providers, just like you can get health insurance through different health insurance providers. And so we know and have our little resources in our back estate planning pockets. And we say, okay, these are the people we recommend that you reach out to get more information about it and find a plan that works for you. But what we found is, of course, people don't know what to ask for. They're just like, hey, long-term care insurance, can you help me out with that? Because that'd be great. All right, hook me up with the plan. No, you have to have things to think about. And you look at your home insurance. You don't just say, plan sounds great. Where do I sign? You're like, well, what does it cover? You have questions that come with getting the insurance. And so what we're going to talk about today is some of the most common, and we have a list, and it's an article now, so you can always go refer to it again, and we'll send it to all of our clients if it's needed and asked for. And so let's get started, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right, what's our first question?
So one good thing to ask when you're shopping out for a long-term care policy is, how long do you want the coverage to be for? 2 years? 5 years? Is there an option to get, an unlimited amount of time for coverage? These are all good questions because we don't have a magic ball. We don't know how long we're going to need care for. So what is question 2?
I was about to take a drink.
Oh!
It is there an elimination period in the policy? And we know a lot of this is just going to be like, what did you say? That none of that makes sense. That's fine. That's totally fine. We can talk about it later. Call us and email us with questions. Or if you're actually interested in long-term care insurance, we can sit down with you, the client, and the provider to ask questions and get this all worked out to where everybody understands what we're talking about. But the elimination period is, as you would expect, a certain number of days between the beginning of when you need help with your activities of daily living, which is a big term in the nursing home world and assisted living world. So do you need help eating? Do you need help showering, getting out of the bed? Things like that are your activities of daily living. It's a very nice, easy definition of that. And then the date the payments under the policy begin. It could be 30 days, 60, 90, but we want a shorter elimination period in that one.
So how are your expenses paid? Are they paid? Do you have like a daily limit? Do you have a weekly limit? Do you have a monthly limit? It's important to think about these things because you might get more flexibility if you have a weekly or a monthly limit, so you can maybe squeeze in some extra care if you have those longer payment periods.
And then what do you actually get from it? That's what you want to know at the end of the day if your house burns down. What am I going to get for my house and all my belongings? In this case, if I go into a facility or if I have in-home services come in and I have this long-term care cost, what will this policy actually pay? And is it going to pay out daily? Is it going to pay out weekly or monthly? All good things to know.
Absolutely. And so another question is there a difference if you get care in home or if you get care in a facility? Are there different pay rates for that? Something very important to think about, because you might be getting long-term care insurance because you're like, if I need help, I'm staying at home. So you got to ask those questions.
Next question is, does a policy have an inflation rider? And then does it use compound or simple interest? I know, very fancy terms, but it's important to ask. So what's our next one? Next one, top on the list, 100%.
This is one of our favorite things to think about. So international coverage. Are you trying to retire in Italy? Maybe
France. Maybe I'm already thinking about it.
Maybe. What's in your plans? And will your long-term care insurance cover that?
You're gonna have to look into it. You're gonna have to make sure mine covers it, And then, do you want an expense reimbursement or indemnity plan? And it just means if you don't use everything, you're gonna get something back. It's a good thing to ask about, good thing to look into.
Or do you have to submit receipts and you only get reimbursed for that? So again, looking at how flexible is your plan to help get you extra care if you want or need it. And then, so finally, another fun one is if you and your significant other go in together to buy it, do you get some type of marital discount?
It's a really good one to look into. I'd say one of the most common is the ADLs, the activities of daily living. A lot of people hear of that word and they're just like, okay, when I got this insurance policy, they said something about it, didn't quite understand it, but by golly, I need some money to help pay for my care. And they'll say, I've submitted a claim so that I get my long-term care insurance to pay for at least some of my cost here. And we say, send us a policy, we're going to read it. And when they send it to us, there are, say, 5 things. You have to be 2 out of the 5. And I call them up and I'm like, all right, well, can you feed yourself? Can you get in and out of the shower by yourself? Things like that. And I'll say, okay, well, based on your answers, you just said you only need help with one of those. So you don't fall under the policy yet. So as always, it's important to read the contract, and it's the fine print that matters. And you have to read it to find out if you actually are covered with your situation.
Absolutely. And so if you watch this video and you're like, I don't want to think about any of this, I don't want to deal with it, we have a fun 4th way that you can pay for your long-term care.
What is it?
Your children will pay for it for you.
Heads up to my sister Jennifer, because it's going to come out of your pocket, not mine. But that's what long-term care insurance can pay for. Some helpful hints and tips for questions to look out for. If you want the list emailed to you, we're happy to do that. But if we don't have any questions, then we're going to say cheers to another lovely Wine Wednesday. It's lovely to see you again. One day we'll see y'all's shining faces again. But we hope everyone's staying safe and having a good start to 2021. Bye.